Hello everyone, it is Leon here and
Phil,
who went over to Guerrilla Games to see Killzone Mercenary. First of all then, so sum it up, what is it?
it's Killzone on Vita, for better, and I was going to say for worse, but there isn't much of a downside to that. It feels like a Killzone game to the extent that you only remember you're playing on a Vita when things like that happen. That's one of the melee takedowns that you do through the front touchscreen. You do swipes diagonally and things like that.
Does it look this good in real life? Because I'm sort of, for a second there I was like, oh yes, on Vita, because it could almost be, maybe not Killzone 4, but it doesn't look that far off PS3, and they've talked about porting the engine over, haven't they?
That's right, yeah. It's the Killzone 3 engine. Guerrilla Cambridge and Guerrilla HQ in Amsterdam have been working together to get the engine working on Vita. Herman Hulst, the managing director of Guerrilla, insists that the Vita's processing power is roughly the same as PS3, so you know, if what works on PS3 can be technically put into Vita, and you're seeing the results on the screen.
So
now.
what's this little flashing, that little reticle there? How does it work single player gunplay then, in terms of the twin sticks, the touchpads? What are you sort of doing when you're playing it in single player?
Most of the time you're free to just concentrate on the twin sticks, which is so important in a shooter, a handheld shooter, to have those twin sticks. There are Vanguard weapons, one of which we just saw there, and these rely heavily on the touch interface. So there was a porcupine that brings up each enemy as a target. You just tap the screen on them and then they go bang.
That was a little red circle we saw earlier.
That was a red circle, yeah. There's also Mantis engine, which is like a giant robotic pair of scissors.
We will see that in a minute. It's particularly horrible. I'm surprised we'll see some of the melee kills in the Mantis Pro build. Well, I'm surprised how unpleasantly violent it is. Like knives in the eyes, things being sort of sliced up. There's a knife attack later we'll see that's to the groin.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just getting old or what, but it does seem especially nasty. And I think obviously Killzone fans are used to that. The melee has always been gritty, should we say? But yeah, maybe it's even stepped up a notch in terms of the violence.
I guess once you set a level, you have to kind of keep beating it.
It's always got to have more impact.
Yeah.
So
you're a mercenary. Do you play on both sides? Explain the sort of setup then and what the mercenary angle brings to it.
So you're fighting the highest paid fight rather than the good fight. This time is how Guerrilla are putting it across. Whether that means that you'll ever be fighting against the ISA, I doubt, because I think that would be sacrilege.
So you do.
You do?
Yeah, we see it in here. Like I think earlier on you were coming up on ISA guys and gutting them.
My goodness.
So because you play, I think you can play as a Hellgast. But so essentially you are highest bidder wins. You work for whoever pays.
Okay, yeah. All I've played is fighting the old Higgs. So okay, yeah, it's highest paid battle wins, and that in the game that here's the Mantis engine. That's just the most horrible. In the game that translates as earning money for certain objectives and things, and then you go into the weapons buying area, usually just a crate. Depending on how you did in the previous mission, you've got more money to spend on new gadgets and guns going forward into the next mission.
And this is the porcupine, isn't it? So you tap on those red circles and it fires it.
Yeah, I played a great little set piece where there was just a metric something ton of infantry just coming towards me, and I was just tapping on it like
we're seeing here. Just taking out the drop stick.
Exactly, it was really satisfying. It's kind of like kind of rubbing your tummy and tapping your head kind of thing when you're going from the twin sticks into quite an involving touchscreen based interface. It sort of wrong foots you for a second.
Okay, you've got 4 targets there. I guess if you sort of got to tap them all and keep control of the twin sticks.
Without just dropping the Vita. It's another thing that Guerrilla have been careful of, is not to overload the touchscreen control, so that it's just there as a gimmick, and it doesn't feel gimmicky, to be honest.
Do the other missions you're undertaking, is there like a narrative to it, or is it you just drop in, do a mission, drop out, almost like a challenge kind of thing?
I think they're attempting a marriage of the two. So the idea is that because it's on a Vita, you need to feel like you can achieve something in a small space of time. So the missions are paced quite tightly, and you can go in and complete a mission in 5 to 10 minutes. But they do also have an overarching story in that an ISA diplomat's or ambassador's young nephew has been kidnapped by the Hellgast, and he's sort of an important piece in the war, and you're kind of going after him to save him, from what I understand.
Okay, and there's multiplayer as well. I think were you quite impressed with that? I think
Yeah, I really enjoyed the multiplayer. Again, you forget you're playing it on Vita. It's 8 player. I think 6 maps at launch and 3 different modes, including the Warzone kind of, you know, all the
different stages each time.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the maps are designed so that you're not sniping so much. You're coming across enemies at mid-range and short range.
Yeah.
And the Vanguard weapons recharge depending on there's a groin shot, lovely.
Yeah.
Depending on how how many kills you're getting, the Vanguard weapons recharge more and more quickly. I'd say at the moment there was a bit too much airstriking going on. There was always somebody on the map who had an airstrike available.
That's an ISA guy. That was a nice.
That's sacrilege.
But no, I think that's the point, isn't it? I think it's that sort of nice little twist you get to play as a different character.
Yeah, it's definitely something different.
How do the maps feel then on the? Because I'm curious to see how big the maps might be on a Vita. Does it feel like a big, in terms of multiplayer? Are the maps large?
They're not large. I assume they'll be bigger in the Warzone mode, which I haven't played yet. But in the Deathmatch mode I played called Shorelines, it was as small. I mean, it's designed for 8 players. So yeah, it's a smallish map, and in single player too, you're not coming up against, from what I've seen so far, the big set pieces from the PS3 Killzones.
Yeah.
You're going in and you're infiltrating, you're stabbing people in the back, you're sabotaging things. It's not quite as grand as the console versions.
Yeah. So impressed overall?
Very impressed. I think it's going to feel like a Killzone. It's exactly what shooter fans want for Vita, and look forward to it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.